again, listen, like we could start a different lineup all 82 games, right? So I urge you not to get caught up in like, oh, this guy started tonight. Like, I mean, like I said, we have depth to be able to do a lot of different things and be chaotically structured in what we're trying to do. And so at the end of the day, we're going to go with what gives us an opportunity to have that chaotic structure and put us in position to give us a chance to win every single night. So it was a good start, on that, but at the same time, we just have to continue to get better and learn new things. So, guys like Chris, Josh, X, all those guys are going to be playing the 4, playing the 5, playing all these different things, and we have to quickly be able to do it, to execute on both ends of the floor. So continuing to get better at that.
Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla, and shout out Jay King in the background from The Athletic, who's been on here on Hold My Banner on Nesson Nation before. Thanks for being back with us here. So, look, everything Joe said makes sense, and he's pretty consistent in the way that he talks about a lot of these things. I think if you're out there paying attention to that latest game where the Cavs mailed it in from tip-off,
right,
the Celtics trying to really determine some things to the extent that they, what do they have, 12 guys play inside the first 13 minutes or something like that? I mean, Joe was just running dudes out, getting, pissed for one reason or subbing a guy for another reason, and trying to obviously just find something that worked in a game that doesn't matter to us necessarily, but absolutely does to him. What'd you take from him in terms of any level of predictability that we have for this season around that starting group?
I think we're going to see the best 5 guys who can go out and get rebounds. I think that is, when he says that, he means that. Like, he wants to get guys who are going to, because rebounding has always been an issue for this Boston Celtics team. It was something that, going back to last year and even the year that they won the championship, we were wondering, like, can a lineup with Porzingis in rebound at the level that it needs to? Are they physical enough? Can they do these type of things, right? Even to the point where I told you I was a proponent of fighting. Like, I was excited when I saw Boucher in the first game ready to scrap up, because you wanted to see some toughness out of this Boston Celtics team. So I think Joe is really, really going to be high on, hey, man, whoever's out there getting us the best opportunity. Like you said, they've won the rebounding battle, but can they win the rebounding battle when they're not turning the basketball over 85 times, when the other team isn't missing 70% of their shots? Can they still win the rebounding battle? It's easy to win the rebounding battle when you're making shots and the other team isn't, right? But it's hard to do that when the other team's shooting just as well as you are. And then on top of that, you're giving them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Once again, 21. Adam, I don't think you understand how crazy that is. 21 offensive rebounds for the G League Cavs.
That's bad. You get like an Angel Reese me-bound situation out there on the floor.
I could have went out there. I was looking at that game and I was like, man, like Craig Porter's getting a rebound. I could go get an offensive rebound. Like, who can't go get an offensive rebound against this Boston Celtics team? And 100% healthy as constructed. Obviously, no Jason Tatum. But, like, this is a team that we got. And they're out there all playing, and you're just seeing ball getting tipped out. Guys like Anthony Simons being a little bit afraid to stick his nose in there. It's preseason.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. But, this is where you got to find out who is the dogs. I can tell you this. I know Joe's a psycho, and I've seen psycho coaches. I've had psycho coaches in college and everything like that as well. I can guarantee you this. Joe's probably going to have practices where they put what you call a bubble above the rim so that the shot cannot go in the basket. And you're just going to see dudes putting the forearm into somebody's chest over and over and over and over. I feel like Marshawn Lynch, over and over again. And that's just going to be practice today, because you have to be able to rebound at a high level in this league, especially in the Eastern Conference, where you're going to be seeing lineups of Giannis and Miles Turner. You're going to be seeing lineups of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen.
Right.
You're going to be seeing lineups of Cat and Mitchell Robinson. These are 7-footers, guys who are known for getting rebounds and being aggressive to go get them. And you're going to have to find a way to deal with that with Luka Garza and Chris Boucher. That's scary times. So if these guards are not going to be rebounding, then Peyton Pritchard, you're coming out of the starting lineup. We're going to see it, Anthony Simons. If Jaylen Brown's not rebounding, you might even see him come out of the lineup. It's going to be desperation out of this coaching staff, and it starts from their head coach with Joe Mazzulla.
I know we're supposed to be kind of looking ahead at this final preseason game, but I'm going to step beyond that because I think that, there's probably not, again, more important to the coaching staff, some of these players. For you and I, there's not a whole lot we can learn from it.
Right.
Let's build upon what you're talking about because we're going to find out about this rebounding issue, about this terrible on paper front court very early on in the regular season.
Yeah.
Listen to the stretch of games to take you through the beginning of November.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Talk to me.
Philadelphia, let's just presume for fun that Joel Embiid is out there.
I mean, it's the first game of the season. You would hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
But he's not going to be.
So you got Embiid on the other side.
Yes.
And then you got a 3-game trip. At New York, Towns. At Detroit, Duren.
Yep.
At New Orleans, Zion. You're back home against Cleveland, where this time you're going to have Mobley and Allen.
Yes.
Presumably. Then Halloween, you're in Philadelphia, Embiid again, maybe.
Probably not.
To begin November, Houston, Şengün.
Yeah.
And then you've got Utah, Kessler, Nurkic, all these right in a row to start off the regular season. I mean, honestly, like if you're projecting ahead, I don't want to instill panic in people, but if you're projecting ahead, how ugly is this going to look on the glass for this stretch of like 10 games or however many I named?
It's going to be very ugly. And once again, playing against those Cavs teams, I think we'll be fine with the 76ers. I mean, they'll take care of themselves. But, when you look at those Cavs teams, it could be where, especially after they just, how coaches are, they're using anything as ammo. They're going in there, putting on the bulletin board, oh, yeah, the last time we played the Boston Celtics, they beat us 138-107. They're putting that up there. You know what I mean? Atkinson's going in there and being like,
just walk around, not me.
You're right.
Didn't be me.
Right. But they're going to do whatever they can to try to get them, you know what I mean? And say, oh, well, Boucher was talking smack. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, of course, some guy was out there saying a little something, chirping a little bit. That's happening, even in a preseason game. So, he's going to do whatever he can. And all of those Boston Celtics games, every single time the Cavs played the Celtics last year, it felt like a championship level game. I mean, the crowd showed up in both places, right? Here in Cleveland, there in Cleveland or here in Boston. The energy is going to be in that building. Dudes are going to want to come out and punk them. They still feel like, NBA players remember, they know what champions feel like. They still feel like the Boston Celtics are champions. They still feel like they're trying to go and attack them and take them off the list. It's always going to feel like that when you play the team that has the most championships in the league. So it's going to be very, very ugly, in my opinion, at least, to start. You know what I mean? Will they split? Will they win games? Will they escape because they have the talent to do so? Yes, but are there going to be quarters where you're like, oh, my God, can you just get a rebound? Absolutely.
So this final preseason game, we don't know officially. This is just my opinion. This is me speculating. Brown, White, Pritchard, Hauser, Simons, some collection of that group of 5, maybe all 5, are going to be sitting out of this game.
Probably.
So in terms of the guys who actually are having to prove something, working towards something, trying to have a skill set identified by the coaching staff, whatever it may be, who's got something to prove in your eyes?
Oh, man. I mean, I think Jordan Wall still has something to prove. I think he has a lot to prove, especially the way Minot's been playing. He sat out of that game the other night at TD Garden. I want to see if he can come in and bring that energy, do a lot of the things that we're asking for, rebounding, all of this other stuff, being physical, playing defense, being able to switch out, cover other people's mistakes. He's got to be able to do that. Another guy in the same vein, and it's funny that I'm talking about all these forwards because, it's a lot of the stuff that Jason Tatum used to do for this team, but it's true. Baylor Shireman. Baylor Shireman has a lot to prove in this final preseason game. Like, can you go out there and make a shot, dude? Can you go out there and be a positive impact towards this team? Because you haven't really been able to do that. We didn't see it in the Summer League. We haven't seen it in the preseason yet. It's been a lot of ugly basketball for him. So can he do that? You know what I want to say? The last thing I want to say, and I'll get off my high horse about this rebounding situation.
Stay on the soapbox. It's all good.
Is that I was, going through and I was watching, obviously, some baseball last night, which is why you got the Shohei Ohtani a little bit earlier. And, I was watching some preseason basketball, watching some League Pass stuff. And I'm like, oh, let me check in on Atlanta Hawks, see how they're doing, whatever. I'm just curious, right? And I'm watching, and I'm like, that guy looks familiar over there. Bassie? Oh, yeah, he used to be on our Summer League team.
Yeah.
How's he doing tonight? 17 rebounds and
I love
5
Bassie,
blocks.
man. I wanted them to sign Bassie.
17
the second they
rebounds.
signed him and we saw him in those first couple preseason games, give me Bassie over Garza. Honestly, they've had very comparable NBA careers to this point in time. Very comparable.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they were drafted like back-to-back.
Right.
That was the dude. 17.
And that brings me to my last point. The last guy that needs to prove a lot and probably will get minutes in this game, Queta. Like, we were all really excited, you know what I mean? Especially after watching him in Euro Cup and seeing the aggressiveness that he was playing with there and his ability to block shots there and rebound there and all this other stuff. I mean, he played 7 minutes in that last preseason game, and like didn't switch on the guards very well, and he looked slow-footed, and you know, he wasn't aggressive to go get rebounds. I believe he had 4. I'm looking at it right here, 4 rebounds in 7 minutes, which is decent. You know, it's not bad. But, you know, when you're playing against the G League Cavs, you would like to see a little bit more than that, right? So will he continue to rise? That's what he needs to prove in this last preseason game. Those 3 guys for sure have a lot to prove.
So the turnover issue it's been just that. It's been an issue. I mean, you had 21 last time out with your guys, like your actual guys out there on the floor in a game against a terrible Cavaliers team. We just can't say it enough. You had 29 turnovers in blowing a lead and falling apart the last time you saw the Raptors. Woo. Now, again, lose by 2 to the Raptors, beat the Raptors by 3. I don't care.
Right.
I do care about 29 turnovers.
Yes.
So how much does that need to be cleaned up in this last game, regardless of who's on the floor?
A ton. I think that's something that coaches pay attention to. Those are the things that lose you basketball games: turnovers and offensive rebounds, as I just vividly laid out. But it is something that needs to happen, because at the end of the day, like, I always talk about continuity and how much that matters in the NBA. And a reason that it does matter in the NBA is because you see in that game, going back to the last game that they played against the Cavs, where Derek White gets a defensive rebound. He has Josh Minot running out, and he sails it out of bounds because he doesn't know how Josh is running and how he's getting to the basket. Is he trying to get to the corner? Does he, bend it towards the rim? Like, those are the things you figure out as you play with guys. So it is an important thing as they, continue to have these mismatched lineups and know that their roles are going to change from night to night to night, and who they're going to play with consistently from night to night to night. You need to see them getting better ever so slightly. I'm not saying that I need to see them at 10, you know what I mean, in tomorrow night's game. But if I could see them at 17, 19, still, kind of a lot of turnovers for an NBA team in the NBA game. But if they're starting to trend downwards, then I'm more positive that as we get closer and closer to Jason Tatum's return, the team is better at taking care of the ball. That's what I would like to see.
Maybe a better question for you for when we do this again on Thursday, because we have the 1 game left.
Yes.
But after these 3, is there one prevailing takeaway you've had from the preseason, from what we've seen versus what you thought it would look like going in with the unknowns on this roster?
I think the prevailing takeaway that I have for this team is that the front court offensively is better than what I thought it would be. Defensively, probably just as bad as I thought it would be. But, like, seeing Luka Garza go in there and fight for offensive rebounds, albeit against trash competition.
Sure.
Seeing him being able to do that and be a little bit more physical, I thought he was going to track more as a shooting big once he came into the NBA, because that was a big part of what he did at Iowa. And obviously his inside game was a big part of that, but the NBA kind of shied away from that. For him to be able to do those things in the NBA game has been, a breath of fresh air. Seeing Boucher kind of starting to figure it out offensively and taking steps forward every single game and getting more comfortable has made me feel a little bit better. And then obviously seeing the guys who are not bigs, but like Minot coming in and playing his role and fitting in with this team, it makes you feel a little bit better about what they can do for you offensively. Defensively is where the deficiencies come for that group. But I think as, once again, the season continues to track, they will be a little bit better than that. Not very great, as we all expected.
Nessa Nation, we're everywhere, right? So I can only imagine this G League group of Cleveland Cavaliers sitting in the locker room watching on the Fast Channel going, how many strays am I going to catch during this show? You kidding me?
Yeah, man.
Goodness gracious.
Sorry, Craig Porter. You have to
beat
get
the
thrown
heck
in
out
there
of us on the court. Now you're just killing us in the media.